Hello, Amritha. Give us a brief introduction of yourself.
Hello, I'm Amritha Suresh. I'm from Kerala. I did mechanical engineering from NIT Trichy for graduation. Immediately after that, I worked with ITC for 5 months and left that for UPSC preparation. I gave one prelims, and immediately after that, I started preparing for RBI, and I've cleared RBI Grade B 2023.
Right. Which attempt was this?
This was my first attempt.
Right. So, and how are you feeling now?
Really good. Happy that I could clear it.
Right. So we'll ask you a few questions on how you approach the syllabus. So we'll start with
Sure.
phase one. How did you prepare for GK?
For GA, I studied RBI notifications and PIB circulars compilation from a particular coaching institute. And yeah, that was the main thing. And they also had a compilation for the 100 most important MCQs. This was my major preparation because I didn't have much time to cover a lot. So I had to limit my sources. And so I went for the compilations alone. And I think it did help that I did have some background with the UPSC preparation because I was following monthly current affairs. So I think that might have eventually helped me during the exam. But for RBI specifically, I followed only the RBI and PIB notifications compilation only.
How much time did you give for RBI preparation? When did you start?
Yeah, I think I filled the form on the last day of the day on the deadline, and I think I started preparation maybe a week after that because initially I wasn't sure if this was something that was doable for me. But eventually, once I convinced myself that okay, this was doable, that's when I started. So I think a week after the notification was released was when I started preparing for RBI.
Okay, good. How did you prepare for Quant?
Quant and even reasoning, I didn't prepare particularly separately for it since I have this engineering background. I am strong in mathematics, so all I did was I did mock tests and I checked if I was able to solve clear the cutoff marks based on the previous years. So I was able to do that eventually, I think after a couple of mock tests, and that was it. And I think one important thing that I did during this was checking where my strength and weaknesses lied. So I only picked up those questions in the exam, which I found were my strength points during the mock tests itself. Like like the questions with a lot of calculations were not my thing. My calculations are a bit slow. So I instead focused on the other sets of questions. Same with reasoning. So I just focused on my strength points during the mock test. That's all the preparation that I did for QA and reasoning.
Okay, okay. Okay, we'll come to phase two now.
Yeah.
So how did you prepare for finance and management?
Finance and management, again, the same coaching institute that I mentioned, I use their compilations for finance and management. And I think I spent majority of the time in that FM preparation for management only because it was an entirely new subject for me. So this compilations had basically all the topics in question and answer format. And I think that eventually helped while writing the answers. And I didn't study everything in the syllabus. I only focused on those parts which had appeared in the previous year questions. We have like a set of we'll have the previous year questions list in all online available. So I only studied those topics both for descriptive and for objective type. So basically, even if a question appeared as objective in a previous year, I would study the descriptive parts of it also so that I, in case it comes up this year, I could write it. And finance, again, because I studied economics thoroughly during the UPSC preparation time, that helped. So I didn't have to focus much on it. Numericals alone was an issue because that doesn't come up in UPSC, but it used to come up in RBI. So I did try to study like it, I think 2-3 days before the exam, but I realized that I couldn't cram up everything. And then I just left the sheet. I was like, okay, if it comes, I'll leave it. That's it. And luckily only one question came this year. And that was also a very simple question. So I didn't have to like sweat much over it. So yeah.
Right, right. So how much time did you give to phase two preparation? Did you start right after the phase one result came, or did you start right after phase one ended?
Right after phase one results came because I was not at all sure that I was going to clear it. Because from what I've seen for this exam, I think the competition is very tight these days, as many as as much as all the other competitive exams in India. So this was my thought process. I was like, okay, there are aspirants who study for this for years, and how am I going to clear it? Who just started preparing, like, even after 1 week after the notification came. So I didn't think there was any chance of me clearing it. So once I cleared, I was like, oh no, now I have to cram up everything. So it was, I think, 11 days. I had 11 days, and that was my preparation time for phase 2.
Good. Okay, how did you prepare for ESI?
ESI, I think the phase 1 general awareness topics help because we also already have a base from that. And the same coaching institute compilations I followed, like they had a few question answer sets, and I think I picked up important topics from that. Important in the sense the ones that I felt were important. I read a few question answers from that. And I think I tried to by heart of like few data points from each topic, like say women and like poverty, rural development, things like that. I tried to memorize a few data. I don't think I wrote a lot of data during the exam anyways. I couldn't recall it, I guess. But yeah, it would be good to memorize these things. And for objective phase, what I did was there are a lot of free videos on YouTube. I used to, whenever I used to travel or like, when I was busy with something else, I used to sit and watch these free YouTube videos with all these, important important summary videos or important questions, objective videos. I used to sit and watch that. And yeah, obviously the phase 1 preparation also helped for that. And I think for schemes particularly, I did read the same coaching institute's document. And I didn't do everything because obviously we have so many schemes. So I think I picked up all the recent and important ones, the ones that were frequently in news, and then just focused on those.
Right. Can you tell us the name of the coaching institute?
Oh yeah, sure. Crack grade B.
Grade B. Right.
Yeah.
Can you tell us how did you prepare for English?
English is my a strong subject. I have been an avid reader since childhood itself, so I didn't have to sweat much for English. I think the only thing I did was to check if I was able to complete the descriptive paper on time. Yeah, I think for English phase 1 also, I could attempt all 30 questions because I had time in my hands and I used to attempt all 30. For descriptive paper, the only issue was the typing speed. And I was checking, I used a keyboard like the ones that are available in these test centers, and I checked if I was able to complete the paper in this given time. And once I realized that I am able to write this 600 words essay and precision comprehension, that's where I stopped the preparation. And during the exam itself, what I did was I applied the knowledge that I had in ESI and FM papers into the English paper. And I think that did work in my favor. Since we don't have the mark sheet yet, I don't know how much I scored, but I think that did help a bit.
Right. Did you prepare separately for the essay?
No, because it was only a 600 words essay, and I was confident that, okay, 600 words is something manageable. So,
Okay. For these finance and management and ESI, how did you practice writing the subjective answers?
like there were only 11 days anyway, so I didn't have much time to prepare answer writing. I just studied whatever I could, and I think I did a couple of mock tests. Like the only thing I wanted to see was if I was able to complete the paper, because I didn't want to go have a panic attack there at the exam hall. So I just sat and tried and checked if I could, like, complete all the papers. I think the first test, when I saw the mock test question paper of ESI, I just sat there. I'm like, I don't think I'm going to write anything in this exam because I didn't know anything. But eventually, I just pushed myself to sit and complete the paper. That's the only practice that I had. I think 2, 3 mock tests I gave. The answers were very random. I don't even know if I typed the right answers. But yeah, eventually, based on these questions, I framed my own answers later on once the 1 hour was over. And I framed my own answers for that. But at the time of the test, I checked if I was able to complete the papers, and I was able to do that. That was my answer writing practice altogether.
Okay. How did you prepare for the interview?
Yeah, so I think I prepared the most out of all the 3 phases for the interview only. So I think I'll divide my preparation into 4 parts. First part was my biodata based preparation. So I think, yeah, I talked to you, and then I realized that what I was supposed to do was make up questions for every point in my biodata and then prepare based on that, and also prepare for counter questions that could appear from these points. And Forum RBI also gave that document, and I think that helped me streamline my preparation a lot for the biodata part. So I used those questions, and I used to have a Google document where I used to type in all the answers and then like practice saying those answers for all these questions. And then second part was current affairs, the general knowledge. So for that, I read newspapers. I was someone who reads Hindu regularly, who was reading Hindu regularly. Apart from that, I also started reading Business Standard. And in the Economic Times website, I used to read all the stuff that I found were different or important. I used to read those articles alone, once in 2 days or once in 3 days. This was for current affairs that they could possibly ask. And in the third part was RBI related questions, which also included finance. So for that, I studied RBI website basically. Studied in the sense like properly studied. There are speeches by governors and deputy governors. I think I did up to almost 6-7 months, I think. I'm not exactly sure, but all the important speeches I covered from that, and I made short notes from that. And then the FAQ page of RBI website is really like a treasure trove of information. So I think I pretty much read all the FAQ points. A lot of it is not very relevant to us, but there will be a lot of relevant things also. So it's your duty to pick up the right things. So yeah, I read the FAQ page thoroughly. And apart from that, yeah, the notifications and circulars that RBI released, I was also up to date with all of that. Now, after these things are done, I gave mock interviews. I think I gave around 4 or 5 mock interviews. And every mock interview, I used to note down the positives and negatives and prepare accordingly. Here, I would caution the aspirants a bit. Some coaching institutes mock interviews would be really bad for your confidence, and do not go for that. Some are good. So talk to previous year's aspirants and then go and pick up the mock interviews, because I think a couple of mock interviews brought down my confidence a lot, and it was bad for me overall. But apart from that, the others did help me, push me in the right direction. So pick up the right mock interviews and give those, and we'll get an idea. Again, for mock interviews, I think the main thing is the mannerisms, or how we talk, what little things. Like, I think in the Forum RBI mock interview, I was told not to use slang words much during the interview. That was helpful. So things like that, all the small things that we generally don't notice would come into light during the interview. So yeah, these are the main things for interview preparation.
Right. Okay. Do you have a message for your fellow aspirants?
Message. Yeah. I think one major thing that helped me was telling myself that this is just another exam and I don't have to pressurize myself for it. So once you take that pressure off yourself, things will become very, very easy. I think this is one of the, I've written multiple competitive exams so far, and this one felt the easiest, to be honest. And that's only because I took that pressure off of myself. So I think everyone should do that. Just think of all these competitive exams as just another exam, and just go for it. Like, okay, whatever happens doesn't really matter. There's always a next option waiting there out for us. So once you remove that pressure, things become way easier. And I can really feel that even now when I think about this whole process, that's the thing that strikes me the most. I keep wondering, only if I'd gone like this for all the other exams that I've written too, maybe it would have been this good. It turned out this well. That's the main thing.
That's a very good idea. Okay, so now give us your review of prepstreak, our process, and what is it that we can do to include more parts of RBI or more exams for that matter, and how to improve what we do.
Yeah, I think for prepstreak, it helped me most during the interview preparation. You people gave summary of, a lot of speeches, and I think the annual statement, things like that, monetary policy statements. That is actually quite helpful because the actual documents of these things are very lengthy. So the summarized versions was very useful, and it covered all the major points that we could use during the interview. Another thing was the biodata, the questions based on biodata. It was a very, very comprehensive document. So that will help streamline preparation like very well. So these two things were what helped me from prepstreak. And obviously you people gave all those Google Meet videos on how to fill the biodata form. All of those helped too. I think, yeah, a lot of people who write RBI also give exams like NABARD and like, SEBI, all of those things. So if you people like add those things also to the stuff that you do, I think it would be useful for everyone. Apart from that, I don't know, because you people, realize that you people also have time crunch because you're also working people. So yeah, right now I think as a guidance institute with previous, like, people who are already there in the organization, that first hand experience from the organization itself is the biggest thing that matters, that you people are doing. So yeah, but yeah, main thing would be adding other regulatory bodies ka exam preparation, but apart from that, I don't think I have much suggestions.
Thank you, Amrita.